Hey guys. Oh, okay. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Let me go ahead and just do this right here. I'm going to send this over before I start talking and jabbering. Okay. Share this link over. And share this one. This one. Okay. Hey, Little Red, can you see and hear me all right? So, sorry I'm a few minutes late, you guys. I had to get the baby to sleep. But hello, welcome everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Andy. Thank y'all so much for joining. BTU, welcome, ladies. I'm going to bring Leslie in just a minute, or Elle Bee. I'm sorry, Elle Bee. I'm going to bring her in just a minute. We're going to be talking to her for a little bit today and just really just chit-chatting. If you guys have any questions for me or for her, leave those in the comments and I will try my dangest to get them answered, you guys. It's so hard for me to keep up with these comments. I'm still learning. If you're one of mine, you know I'm still learning. I'm very much still learning. Yeah, so can everybody, I do not want to have a replay of the other day. My connection was really bad. So let me know if my connection's all right. I don't know why, but it seems like every time I use the camera is when I have the most issues. I mean, my router is literally right here, so I could not be any closer for a good connection. So yeah, just let me know if you guys can hear me, and then we will. I'll go ahead and bring Elle Bee in quick.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
Can you hear me all right?
Yep,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Good. That's good. Sorry it took me a few minutes. I had to get the little one asleep, and I got my days mixed up too. Today's my son's birthday. Everybody say happy birthday to my
Happy birthday.
8 years old today. So yeah, he had remote learning today, and I got my days mixed up. I thought it was tomorrow, but he's good and everything. So I wanted to hop on here, and then the baby, had to get her to sleep before I could get on here. So you guys may hear kids in the background, and if so, I apologize. It's just life. It's the way it is.
Yeah. I completely understand too, because like, that's how it always is with my kids. Like Kennedy right now is in the bedroom with her dad watching TV. But even I was second guessing. I was like, do I have the time of the date wrong? Like, is it today? Like went back and read our emails.
Well, see, the thing is that the school he goes to, it is so the most complicating thing. The school calendar has changed literally every other week because of the pandemic and everything. We've had like 4 or 5 different calendars be updated, letting like with different days for remote learning, things like that. So it's just, when you have multiple kids in school, it's confusing. But 100%. Yeah, let me see here. Hey, Police Wife, welcome. Hey, Candy. So I wanted to I just wanted to make sure you guys could hear me all right, because every single time I go to try to do this, if I'm on someone else's stream, like if I was on your channel, it seems to do just fine, but I'm on mine, and it might just be my connection. But if it starts to cut out, let me know. I may have to turn the camera off. It might help a little bit. So just let me know if I start to cut out.
It seems good on my end.
Okay, good. That's all that matters then, as long as, and you seem good on my end. So I just wanted to make sure. Okay. But yeah, so how's your week been? It has been a busy week. There's been a lot going on this week.
Same. Monday, I had the update for my son's eye, which thankfully his eyesight is coming back, because it was 20/50 and he had cataracts in it. Now it's 20/25 and the cataracts is like shrinking. So the doctor thinks that it was 100% the little object, or the big object, shall I say, that was messing with his eyesight. And then Tuesday, my other son had a orthodontist appointment. So it's been, so far, my week has been kind of busy.
No, I wanted to ask you about that, how he was doing, and if it was healing okay, because I know when you was talking about it the other day, that sounds so scary. Kids, man, they stay hurting themselves some way or another.
They do,
and
my
especially
son,
boys are like,
yes, yep, yeah. I have 4 boys, and out of all of them, my son Dakota is like the worst. Like, he's had 2 surgeries already, and he's 6. He broke his leg when he was 2.5 because he's just like, even when he had his eye injury, he was like running around with like something in his hand, and like I like caught him. I was like, no, I'm like, you are gonna like fall and like land on your eye. He's a daredevil though. Yeah. Like, we got our trampoline for Christmas, and he already can do back flips, land on his feet, and front flips and land on his feet. He just, boys are crazy, but he is like, there's no stopping him. That's right, Candy. He's bad, but he's something else.
That's how my boy is. I've got 2 girls and a boy, so I have a mixture of both, or not even a mixture. I have my one boy, and out of all my kids, I mean, they have their moments where they can all be wild, but my boy, it's like, I don't even know how to. It's like he doesn't think before he does things. Like, if it hits his brain, he's just gonna do it and think about it after. You know what I mean?
100%.
But with the girls, they'll be like, maybe I should not do that, and they think a little bit more.
100%.
That's just how I is.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100%. That's how my boys are. Like, they'll come up with like crazy ideas, and I'm like, y'all can't do that. Like, that's dangerous. What are y'all doing? My girls, even Kennedy, while she's wild, she don't really, I mean, yeah, I would say the boys are the ones that come up with the ideas that literally will always lead to them getting hurt for the most part without thinking it through.
Yeah. Well, it's just like with my son, I don't know about yours, but with my son, he just constantly goes. It's like he doesn't even think, he just goes, and then something will happen, and I'll be like, well, honey, you should have known that was going to happen. If a door is wide open and you run into it, it's going to hurt,
Yeah. Yep.
But that's just boys. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. They're fun. It's just adjustment, that's for sure. But
yep.
But yeah, I'm glad he's doing good. I'm glad he's healing up from all that and everything, because it sounded pretty scary. And your eye, it's like, I couldn't even imagine. I mean, I've gotten punched in the eye, and it's forever to heal up. So I can imagine how painful it would be to, right in the eyeball.
Mm-hmm. That's what the eye doctor said. The eye doctor said the first pain that he felt was like just an excruciating pain. But like after that, like the next day, by that point, it was just like a sore throb. But he said the first pain that, like, from when it first jabbed in his eye, he said that probably was one of the first, like, worst pains that Dakota's ever felt. And I'm like, well, Dakota's broke his leg before, so I don't know. But the eye doctor said that pain is like really bad. Then after that, it's just like a throbbing soreness.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashley. You're so sweet. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys being here. Hey, Candy. Sweet Tea Recovery, thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad. No, you're not late, girl. I literally just got on here. I was late, okay? I'm late for everything. I swear, y'all. I try so hard to be on time, but it just happens.
I'm late for everything.
Oh, it's just part of it. But yeah, I appreciate you guys coming. So I wanted to ask you what, number one, 2 things that I wanted to ask you. Does most people call you Elle Bee? Is that what they call you?
Now people are getting more used to that, to Elle Bee, but Elle Bee, okay, like Elle Bee, I had never been called Elle Bee before until like I started my YouTube channel and I went by my real name. I have a nickname that I have been called all my life, and that's Net Net. Flossie calls me that. My mom calls me that. My dad calls me that. My siblings called me that. My teachers called me that in school. Like it's Net Net. Sean calls me that. But I started my channel just under my real name, and then Elle Bee started coming. Okay, the first person that ever called me Elle Bee was Matt Beyer. When me and him became friends, he would call me Elle Bee on my streams, and like anytime we talked, he referred to me as Elle Bee. And then like me and Katie, when we really started having problems again, people just started, like when they would tweet about me and her, they would say KJ and Elle Bee. So, but it was the L and the B. It wasn't spelled out. It was just L initials. So then I was thinking, like, I really need to take my real name out of this, because obviously there's crazy people out there that will look up everything about you and put it out, regardless as if you want it out or not, you know, just like my arrest. Like, I wasn't ready for my arrest to be broadcasted to the world because I couldn't really speak on it, but it was put out there anyways. And like, this is like my job. Like, this isn't, I love it. It's my job, but I see this in the long run. Like, I'm not going to do this for another 6 months or another year and just be done with it. Like, I want to do this. I hope one day to have 100,000 subs. I'm going to earn them the correct way. I'm not going to buy them, but I hope one day to have that, you know, and hopefully by then, well, I know at that point, if I ever get that many subs, there will undoubtedly be some crazies, you know. I mean, for sure there'll be some crazies. So I just thought, if I start using a different name, maybe in like a year's worth of time, nobody will refer to me as my real name. So therefore, if any crazy person decides, let me look into her, like, hopefully it'll be way harder for them to find my real name, or maybe they'll just think that that's my real name. So if they look it up, they're not going to find anything. So I was trying to figure out really like what name. I was like, what name am I going to use? So I was like, well, everybody calls me Elle Bee anyways. And I actually, like, when I was filling it out, I put Elle Bee. And I was like, that's just not, I don't know. Like, Elle Bee just doesn't make, I don't know. It's just 2 letters. Like, it's not cute, you know? So I was like, how can I make this cute? Like my initials. And then like, I thought of Legally Blonde. Her name was Elle Woods, you know? So I was like, Elle Bee, like ELLE, like her name was Elle Woods, and then BEE. I'm just going to spell my initials out. So that's what I done, and I just kind of went with that. And now people are getting used to it. Like the other day, my mod Candy, for like the first time in our group chat, she called me Elle Bee versus my name, and she was like, "Oh my God, I just noticed, like, I just called you Elle Bee, like with no, like, I didn't have to think about it. I just called you Elle Bee." And so yeah, people are getting used to it. Yeah.
That's why I wanted to ask you, because I noticed people called you Elle Bee way more now. And I myself all the time saying Leslie. And I was like, I need to remember it's Elle Bee. And I wanted to ask you, you know, what you're used to or what you're called more often. So I make sure that I call you by the right thing. But yeah, so I just wanted to ask. But I love it. I think it's very creative. I would have never thought of it that way when I heard you describing how you know picked it and everything. That's really, really cool. I love it. But I did I think I tagged you in the description. Hold on a second. Go in there. I think I tagged you in the description by Elle Bee, and then I also had seen your Instagram is also Elle Bee too. So I just wanted to ask and see if that's what everything's by. Okay, hold on. But yeah, so I know that aside from just, you know, personal, everyday, busy life, there's been a lot going on social media this week too. Well, the last couple of weeks, last 2-3 weeks, but especially the last week or so, and especially in the Katie community. And I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot. I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot, but I did want to kind of get your take on everything that's going on, because I did a video on it talking about it. You know, I was talking about how I believe that within the community, there's other little tiny communities within the community, if that makes sense. And, you know, I do, some people that do just a little bit of Katie videos. It's not everything. And then there's other people who just do Katie videos, and then you have like me who just do one like every once in a while, and then like you know, I know you're kind of connected to it whether you want to be or not, in a way, you know. So I did want to ask you what you think of just everything going on right now. Not even Katie's video. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but just everything else going on right now.
Honestly, like, before I had a YouTube channel, like like I've never seen anything like this. Like when I started YouTube, I never thought, like, I just watched it. Like even like when I was watching Tati a lot and she went through this stuff with James and Jeffrey and and like Shane and all that, like I did not know that like that was like how YouTube communities work. But apparently it is, like, because I have like my friend Candy, and they like some of my mods, they follow other communities, and there's like always drama within every community. Like people somehow get linked up. So I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was like, I wonder, like, when Tati started her thing, like she probably done just like we do. She become friends with other people that kind of covered similar stuff. You know, like how I'm like talking to you and I'm like friendly with you. She probably become friendly with James Charles, and then they just become linked in the same community because they were friends and they kind of covered the same topics. But then drama started popping up and drama started popping up. So even like seeing that go on during the day, I never realized that's like how it is on YouTube. But now, like,
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it's right, but it's literally like what happens on YouTube. And I don't understand why, other than just messy people, like, always ruin it for people. You know,
it's like that in
like,
every community.
every community has like there's this one person that like are these two people that just start all this drama with everybody else, and then it just kind of branches out to where other people become involved, and it's just crazy. I think the whole thing is crazy.
It is. No, I agree. Well, that's why I hadn't heard you talking about it on Little Red Stream the other day, and you know, I agree. I didn't think of it that way before. But you know, there's all these different communities, beauty, community, and so on, so on. And in every community, there's drama. There's stuff that goes on, and
Right.
it doesn't mean the community is a horrible community. It doesn't mean anything. There's literally like a coffee cup community. I'm sure there's drama in that coffee cup community. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's just kind of part of life. Even outside of social media, you have drama with family, friends. It just is what it is. But because it is on social media, there is so many more eyes on it, and it's a bigger deal, you know?
Yeah. And everybody has their opinion about it. Whether or not they have an opinion and they're going to make a channel where they voice their opinion, or if they just leave their opinion on the videos, you know, everybody has an opinion on it, which it's their right. Obviously their right. I love hearing opinions. But sometimes it's these like, I was going to say trashy. It's these, certain types of people with certain opinions that will just go around to other people and like tell their negative opinions to other people to try to turn everybody against this one person, you know, just because they have a bad opinion about that one person, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's what gives it a name, you know, is that stuff. But I see Sweet Tea here says, it does seem like there is cliques inside of the group. I just think it's interesting. Picking cliques and groups would be silly. Absolutely. And
100%.
that's maybe that's a better, I don't know, term of what I mean. I'm just, there is people like me specifically. When I talk about it, I try to be very neutral about it. Like, yeah, of course I have an opinion. No, I agree with almost anything that Kate does, in all honesty. And yeah, I'll share that. But I do in a way that's very like just to the chase. Like whatever it is we're talking about, it's already public record. We're talking about this crazy thing that Kate did, and she done it. I didn't do it. She did it, you know, and I'm just talking about it and giving my opinions on it. And then there is some people out there that do seem to go more towards like appearances and more towards like parenting skills. And I try really hard not to do that, you know.
I do too.
So I think there's a difference.
Well, I don't think it's okay for anybody to ever attack anybody's parenting. I don't like that. But if you're going to sit on your channel and attack someone's parenting who you've never met, you only know what they like, the cameras choose to show you, or the way the show edits someone's life, or what like magazines or tabloids tell you. and then you're going to judge them. So this is just the way that I feel about it. Like, I'm not going to speak on your parenting unless you're bashing someone else's parenting over and over and over and over and over when you have no right to. Like, you don't have the right to. And then that person that you're bashing is 100 times better of a parent than you are. So normally I'm not going to talk about somebody's parenting. The other day on Little Red's channel, I actually kind of went in with it because I just felt like Katie was like bashing one of the younger girls, like hardcore. She does it all the time, but she cries the second someone says anything about what type of mother she is. So normally I wouldn't talk about it, but someone like her that does what she does, I'm like, well, you know what? You're opening yourself up for it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and see, and that's the thing I think is the issue with it is, I think, and I mean, I watch all kinds of different stuff on here. That's, that does have to do with it. That doesn't have to do with it, and I watch some of the stuff and I'll think it's hilarious, but I just, on my channel, I try not to do it. You personally, I told you this the other night when we talked. I feel like you have, I know this sounds so silly, but I do feel like you have more of a right to be like, if you want to say something, you should be able to say it. You shouldn't have to worry so much because she's put you through hell. I mean, excuse my French, but she, in my opinion, I feel like she's put you through hell. And so if you want to talk whatever you want to talk about, I feel like you should be able to, But me personally, she's never done anything to me personally. So I try to keep it just very surface level, Right.
Well, I noticed I watched your video that you done kind of covering the basics of what happened between me and her, or what happened like in the beginning. I watched your video twice, and you done such a good job for like at that point when you made that video, you had not talked to me yet. So you just kind of like done your research.
Yeah.
And you done a really good job because I was surprised because I have watched people that has tried to like kind of break it down what went on between me and her. And they usually always get like a few of the details off a little bit, but you like hit everything. Like you said everything, even if it wasn't something that I said, you was like, I think Leslie meant it this way. And so you done a really good job with that. And if anybody's watching, they haven't watched that video, you guys go watch it because it really does break down like what happened with me and Katie back in the day. And, it's the best video that I've seen yet that kind of details it. Probably, maybe even better than my video. I mean, you done a really good job. But yeah, I think a lot of people, anybody that's been here since like last year or like early on, they saw Katie put me through hell where I rarely said anything during that time, even times where I should have, and I probably would have come out swinging. I didn't, just because I didn't know how to handle all that. And I wasn't in a place to be in this back and forth with her. So I kind of I kept quiet and I just kind of focused on myself and like my mental health because I wasn't good during that time, But even though I stayed quiet for the most part, she just kept on and kept on. So a lot of people, and myself included, feel like if anybody has the right to say anything, I'm one of them because she has bashed me for so long, even when I just kept quiet. Then I have a right to finally speak up and say how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other day, I know she was on, I hate Twitter, but I noticed she was on there the other day talking about the situation. She's Leslie this, Leslie that, blah, blah, blah. And I seen on one of her tweets, she had said, who's the one that can't move on, you or me? And I put on there, I was like, was you not just talking about her literally not even 2-3 weeks ago? Just because you delete your video does not mean people see it. Like you did it, it happened, I seen it, And that's why, I don't know, but I assume that's why she deleted it. It's crazy. Like, who can't move on? What do you mean? You keep it going, just as much as anybody else.
Yeah,
and it's all rude to her.
The thing about it is 9 times out of 10, when I do a video, like when I do a video where I talk about Katie, 9 times out of 10, it's like just a live stream where I'm hanging out, and I had no intentions on really talking about her, but she always comes up most of the time because, for one, she's always doing something crazy. So people's like, Elle Bee, what's your opinion on this? Did you see that Katie done this? Did you see that Katie done that? And then we'll go into talking about her, and I share my opinion on her. I only have a couple videos that was made with the, like, this is a video about Katie, and it's not about Katie. It's about my experience with Katie that I have a right to put out. I've had a right to put it out from day one because she told so many lies on me. So I had a right back then, and I have the right now to come out with these videos, show what happened, and show the truth of what happened, and show my side of it, you know. But I don't have like a ton of videos about Katie. I just have like 3 maybe that was specifically, this is going to be about Katie. The rest of them, maybe the other 10 or whatever the case may be, those were just video, like live streams that I done where she was brought up and people asked me, like, what is your opinion about this? Because Katie's done something else crazy. Or maybe me covering the Kate, you know, like her lawsuit. But she can't get mad at me for covering her lawsuit. I mean, she covers everybody else's lawsuits, you know. But yeah, I'm not the one that can't move on. Yeah. I'm not the one that can't move on. I have over 400 clips of her talking about me. Over 400.
Right. Yeah. And that's, you know, and that's the thing about it too is, you know, that's her video the other night. There was some things in there that she said that I think were somewhat good points in a roundabout way, but there was things in there, like just things that she was saying about the community in general, like her idea of what the community is and what the community actually is two total different things. And then when she goes on there talking about it, oh, it's a hate and oh, if you make hate content, then this and this and this. But that's not everybody. I'm not going to say there's not 1 or 2 in the crowd that does. Right. I'm just saying that's not what a lot of us do.
Right.
Like a lot of us, it's not a hate thing. It's literally we are showcasing your own actions that you have done. No one did it. You did it. No one made you do it. You done it, and we're just talking about it. You know, like honestly, at the end of the day, and that's not hate. You know.
No, well, my thing is like there have been creators that have started a channel strictly to cover, you know, Katie, the stuff going on with Katie. I have only seen like just a couple that like really go at her hard and that in my mind kind of seem to be trolling her a little bit. But for the most part, all the other ones, they're just like highlighting her behavior, you know, and not even being like hard on her. Like you weren't even hard on her. Like in your first video about her, you was like, I think you felt a little bit of empathy for her. Like you could kind of tell that you did, you know, and back in the day I did too. Like there were times like back in the day where I would feel bad for her and I'd be like, oh man, this is terrible. She don't, you know, maybe she don't deserve all this. And I think that's anybody that's a good person. That's what they go through with Katie. Like Katie will do things that will make you mad and you don't understand why she's doing them and you get aggravated with her. But then you'll see like a little bit of humanity in her, just a little bit. And maybe she's faking it. I don't know. And then you'll kind of be like, oh man, you know, maybe she's not the bad person that she is. And then she'll go right back to doing something else. And then you're like, oh, see that. I think that happens with everybody. I think that happens with everybody that watches her. Like they go through these times of like where they kind of feel bad maybe. And then she'll do something else. And then like, no, never mind. And that'll happen like 3 or 4 times. And then finally they're like, no, she's just not a good person. So people make these channels to highlight that behavior. But like I said, I've only seen like maybe 1 that like really goes after her. All the other ones just talk about it. They do not drag her. They don't talk about her appearance. They're not defaming her in any way. They're just talking about what she's doing, you know?
Sorry, hold on a second. My baby just woke up. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
That's okay.
I'm just gonna go get her. I'm so sorry, guys. I will be right back, though. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of carry on while she's gone. Someone said, if you disagree with KJ, she labels you a troll. KJ is the biggest troll of them all. That's one of the problems that I think everybody finds with her, Billy Ann, is when she'll make a video, if anybody's in her group, like in her chat, and they're like, oh no, Katie, that's not right. Even if they're being extremely nice about it, like, hey, Katie, that information is wrong, or that's not really how it is, she will label them a troll. Oh, you must come from Elle Bee side, or you must come from Little Red side, or you must be one of those Elle Bee trolls, like, and then she'll kick them or something like that. Well, obviously that turns the person, you know, or that the person will be like, oh, well, wow, I don't even know who those other people are really. And just because I'm like very respectfully saying that the information that you're putting out is incorrect, you're going to label me a troll. Okay, fine then. I'm not going to watch you no more. And I'm going to go over to this other side of people that who has been saying this is how you are, and I've chosen not to believe them and give you the chance. And now you've proved to me that what they've been saying is true. I'm going to go over there and hang out with them. I think a lot, that's what happens to a lot of people. I feel terrible for her son. One day he will be able to look back at all of this. I feel so bad for her son, even more so, maybe not what we say. Obviously, I do feel bad if her son was to see what some of the stuff has been put out, but I feel even worse that he will see the stuff that she has said about him, because she has said things about him that just, if I saw my mama say that, like some of the things that she has said about him, or if I watched videos of my mom getting aggravated that I'm just coming in to talk to her or like ask her a question, it would hurt my feelings. Let's see. Thanks, coming, Shar. You can leave the rest out. Hey, Shar. Hey, Wooden Eagle. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Classy Mom. Let's see. The other commentary channels are doing what she does to the Duggars and whatnot, but on a much smaller and less vicious level, in my opinion. Frank, you are absolutely correct. She has an ungodly amount of videos on the Duggars, and Wooden Eagle was sharing like Katie's post the other day. Wooden Eagle was like taking Katie's IG posts and putting them on Twitter and like responding to them. And literally, like in that one day, it was like 5 or 6, maybe I'm exaggerating, but there was several posts that Katie made on IG, and every one of them was negative, bashing, being mean, like, you know, hateful towards the Duggars. So that you're exactly right. Like the other commentary channels that come out talking about her, they're just covering her like she covers the Duggars, but not as vicious. But she don't like it. She does not like to get a taste of her own medicine whatsoever.
Oh yeah, but sorry, you guys. Sorry, I'm back. But yeah, I completely agree. Like, and that's the thing. It's very much a double standards. Like, everybody else has to follow the rules, but I have to. I'm the only one,
Right.
that don't have to follow the rules. It's very much that.
Yep.
Very much so. Tara Pettigrew, so as you said that because I struggle with it. I think I missed a little bit. Let's see. Uncovering hypocrisy. Not trolls, we just don't speak. Narcissistic stupidity. Amen, sister. Amen.
Right on.
I agree.
Right on.
But yeah, so and for me personally, whenever it all started, like I told you off camera, literally happened by accident. I know some people don't believe that, but I truly, it was at the very beginning of everything, and I knew who she was somewhat, just from hearing other people talk about her, like Dustin Daly, like bigger commentary channels like that. And so I knew about her a little bit, and just that they had said, and I had seen one of them talking about it, and I did not realize there was so many smaller channels, so many, like I have met so many awesome people about all of this. And, people, they say things like, in my last video, I had said something along the lines of, I had met so many awesome people, and that they're great people that honestly are just doing the thing I'm doing, either raising awareness on the things that she has done, talking to people who have been personally affected by her, that type of thing, and stuff like that. And then, but I said this in my last video. Anybody that watched it knows I said that I knew behind the cameras while all this was unfolding. She could say she didn't watch it, she don't watch it, she has nothing to do with it, whatever. We all know better. Anybody that's ever watched her for any extended amount of time or anything knows that she knows very much what's going on within this community. Number one, this is for anybody. You're not going to have a community surrounded like that's about you. It's a community about you, and you're not going to know what's going on in it. I'm sorry, I don't care who it is. If I had a community, a cat, a wild gypsy community, I would know what's going on within that community because it's about me. But second of all, she's usually not lately, but I think that's more just to save face or trying to save face than anything else. But usually she's the first one to open her mouth, get on a live, and just let it all come
100%.
out.
100%.
Whether she deletes it later or not.
I guarantee you she knows about this stream right now. She already knows about this. She's You have 5 thumbs down. It's probably Katie, Todd, and their psych accounts.
Well, that's what I was going to say the other day on my last one, my anti-KJ community video that I did. And there was an account that I have literally never seen on my channel, which I mean, I know it's YouTube, so it could literally be anybody. But it was very coincidental. Then that's that very same day, that night, she went on and was talking about it all. And I know she had mentioned Radiant Brit's video and things like that. But that day, it was like, I can't even remember what the name was now, but I'd never seen it on my channel ever. And it was saying exactly what she said in that stream, like almost word for word, talking about you don't want to be a part of a hate community. If you are a part of a hate community, you need to be prepared to get that hate back, And it was before her life. So, I mean, it could be a coincidence. Who knows? But I did find it very coincidental that I'd never seen this account and they were saying the exact same thing.
That was Katie. That was Katie. Guaranteed that was Katie.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But either that or like you said, a supporter or something like that, because I do have some of her supporters watch me and because I don't say anything. I don't like I'll say her actions disgust me or something like that. But that's about as mean as I get about it. I'm honest and I share my thoughts, but I just don't have to be nasty about it,
Yeah, but that's the thing too, though. Like I've watched so many creators that aren't really nasty. They just kind of stop, Sonny. They're just honest with it. But Katie does not like honesty. If you say anything against her, she will end up not liking you. She will end up in time if you continue to like cover. Or now that you've had me on your channel, she may end up saying something about you. She may name drop you on her channel. But a lot of people are in this community and they have an issue with Katie. Katie has turned that into this community that don't like her being a hate troll community, when really that's not what it is. I think probably 90% of us are good people with morals and which is a lot of the reason why I think a lot of us had such an issue with her, because we saw issue with what she done. Like, calling a 9-year-old, victim a brat, like that's an issue. The way she goes after the Duggars, an issue. The way she twists things, like anybody with any like sense of morals would have an issue with that. Now, that's not to say that the other 10% of this large amount of people, that there may be like 10% that are trolls that will troll her, that will, send her emails attacking her or leave terrible comments on her channel. But what she likes to do is she likes to group that into this group of people. They're just a troll group. And if you're a troll group, if that's what you do, then, and she was saying that like on account of Charlotte, I think, because when Charlotte, started like speaking out against something that wasn't as popular with everybody else, Charlotte got attacked by people that was her friends that was in the same community as her. So she was like, oh, see what happens when you speak out against me and you don't like me and you join this community, be prepared to be attacked by them. That's really not how it is. And really it shouldn't be how it is. Like in my mind, I don't care what we say. If we say it with respect, I don't think I should be attacked for anything. I don't think Charlotte should be attacked for anything. It just so happened there were some people that for whatever reason decided to, really go after Charlotte for that. And now she's trying to make this like a thing. Like, see, that's what happens. That's what happens. If you do one thing they don't like, they're going to go after you. And that's not the way that it should be. But there is that small percentage of people that don't, just like Katie, they don't like to be told that they're wrong. They don't like for you to disagree with them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like we just said a few minutes ago, that's literally anywhere on or off the internet. You're gonna have people are different. Some people are empathetic, some people aren't empathetic at all.
Right.
It's just life. It's just the way it is. So to try to put it in this category like this is just hate, that's not what it is at all.
No.
Actually, my whole thing from the very beginning issue that I had was the bullying and the dragging people and the defaming people, and it was all that stuff. Like, I care less how many hours a day she spends with her family or what honestly, that's her life, literally what she wants to do. But when it comes to things and how it's affecting other people, ruining people's lives or careers and that kind of stuff, that's when it's like, why should you be allowed? Like, she's constantly talking about everybody, all these different people, and why they should be like reality TV stars, the Duggars, everybody. She'll talk about why they shouldn't have a show or why they shouldn't. It's okay for her to try to deplatform people because they have different beliefs and this, that, and the third, things that, and I'm not, going to get deep into the Duggars. I'm just saying any situation like that, it's okay for her to get deplatformed or lose their job and then have a voice. It's okay because she does not agree with their ways or what they advocate for, whatever. But anyone else does it, it's a problem. And that's not okay. And she'll literally drag people. And I've noticed the only reason it really bothered me is I had noticed, she does it with bigger people. And she doesn't do it as much now in the last couple of weeks, but I do feel like that's because it's one of those situations where look how long it took her to not do it though, like months and months of doing it and years. I mean, a couple of years, and people saying, hey, you might want to stop doing this. And she wouldn't. And it took a lot of stuff to happen for her to just even remotely be quiet. So I don't think is not necessarily, she can say that's what she wants. And maybe it is, but I don't believe that that's actually what she wants. I think she does like talking about it. I believe that, she wants to, without it causing issues for her. So it's not, that's what I think anyways. That's just my opinion. But anyways.
I think this is who Katie is. I think she is the mean girl. I think she is the girl that likes to pry into other people's life, and she has these terrible opinions on them. I saw a clip on Twitter the other day where she said something about how people was, getting too personal in her life and attacking her in personal ways, and that's not okay. She used like the example, I believe, of like people calling her husband's job and all of this. She's like, that is never okay to go personal. And I'm like, hold up. You went personal by putting my financial information out there, my arrest out there. You also went personal when you called the police somebody in the chat just reminded me about this. You also went personal when you called the police on a lady that was in labor because she decided to have a home labor to have her baby at her house. And you were in this Facebook group that was against this type of stuff. So you're in this Facebook group telling, oh, she's, in labor at home, and called the police and had a welfare check done on this lady who was butt naked in the bathtub trying to have a baby. She had to get up out of the bathtub, put clothes on, and go answer her door to tell the cops, I'm okay. I'm just in labor at my house. Like, Katie called the cops on this woman. And the cops said, the lady said, the biggest problem was that she was literally just in labor in her bathroom. She had to get up and get dressed to just go deal with that because Katie felt it was necessary to intervene in this woman's life, But Katie likes to say, I don't go real life. I don't do real life. You guys shouldn't either. But she does things like that. And I think that's why people have such strong opinions of her, because and then in the Facebook group, she's like, oh, we got her to go to the hospital. We saved her baby's life. No, you didn't. Like, the lady did end up going to the hospital, but it was because when she was like at the height of her labor and her contractions, she was going, it was too much. So she decided to go to the hospital. But Katie like completely interrupted that by sending the cops to her house. And that's just one thing. Like, there's been so many things that Katie has crossed the line and went personal, for her to sit on her channel and say, don't go personal. Don't go personal. Like, you are the queen of going personal. How dare you? That's why people don't like her.
Well, and see, that's the thing is, like, I was talking to you the other day about the Collins family. It was pretty much the same situation, because she had a home birth and because she had 9 kids or whatever, and all these things. And the way she talked about it was like, you know, oh, I'm worried about the kids, and I'm worried about her, and I'm actually worried about their life and their safety. It doesn't make sense. And, you know, she deserves a dose of her own medicine, because she doesn't like when people dig into her life. She doesn't like when people start doing things about her that necessarily may not look the best. You know, she hates that, but it's okay for her to do it. And it's just very contradicting. It's very contradicting, and it's hard to be empathetic of someone like that. But still, at the end of the day, when she did do the video breaking down crying and stuff, there for a pinch of a second, I was empathetic of her, because I'm a person, and that's just the way I operate. I can't help it. And, you know, I think that you're the worst person in the world. My mama used to say that to me all the time, but, you know, there's no good or bad people. Even worse people have a little bit of good in them. It's just, do they choose to use that good or not? You know, you can find something good in anybody, but do they use it for good, or are they using it for bad? You know, and in this situation, I think she's very closed-minded. She's very set in her ways, which is whatever, you know, to each own. But how dare you get on here and preach about other people's lives, their beliefs, religious, political? It does not matter. Who are you? You know, like, seriously, who are you to do that? That's how it all started, really. You know, it roots back to her.
In the video that Katie did on me, she was like, I would have much more respect for you, Leslie, if you would not have like made that video. And I'm like, what makes this lady think that I need her respect? Like, who is she? Like, I'm not going to get on here and like talk about a video that you done before I even know, you know, and be like, I would have much more respect for you, Wildflower, if you wouldn't have done that video, because you would be like, who the heck are you? What do you mean? I don't need your respect. I don't even know you, you know, but that's the way that she is. She's literally the YouTube police. And she literally thinks that things have to go through her. And in the video, she said, any parent that has a child with a mental disability or anything such as that would be offended. And I'm like over here, like, you don't speak for everybody, because I have a child that's on the spectrum. My sister has a child, you know, like, you don't speak for all of us, but she literally acts like she does. And it's like, I'm like, I'm just like, do you really think that much of yourself? Are you faking this? Like, you cannot think that you have that much authority over everyone, that they should, if you disagree with their video, that you have the right to go after them like that. Nah, Sonny, be quiet, son.
I mean, I agree. That's the, you know, in a lot of her videos, we'll sit there and be like even in that video, in her addressing the drama video, the thing that was so kind of entertaining to me about the situation was how she would really sit there in one sentence and be like, you know, I don't keep up with the drama. I know nothing about it. I mean, it just gets sent to me. I don't watch it or nothing. And then turn around and literally, how many hours worth of videos in hours that a creator has made about her? You don't know that kind of stuff. You don't just look at a video and say, you're sitting there calculating it up. You don't sit there and say you don't know what's going on, but you're going to take the time to sit down and see how many videos this person did on you and calculate the hours it is, you know, or like invest that much time.
She's always done that to me. I can do a video that will be a 3-hour live stream, and Katie may have been the topic for like an hour, but she's always going to be like, Leslie done a 3-hour. One time she said I'd done a 6-hour stream on her, and I ain't never done a 6-hour stream. So I was like, oh, but that's what she does. She will exaggerate for one, but then if she does, she'll be like, yeah, she done a 3-hour stream on me, or she done a 6-hour stream on me, and it's like, but if you was to add the total of all your streams about the Duggars, I wonder how many hours you've spent talking about them. Or if I would take the over 400 clips I have of you talking crap about me and add that up, I wonder how many hours that would be of you talking about me. Or Tati Westbrook, the 80 plus videos. Like, you have no right. Yeah, like, you have no right. Come on. I've never met a person that is so like lacks self-awareness to this degree and is this much of a hypocrite. I've never in my life, I've never even seen anybody on TV. Anybody ever seen anybody on TV that acts this way? Because I haven't. It's crazy.
And I think that there is so much coverage on it, and while there is so many people,
100%.
This was another thing. I said it in my last video, but I am going to say it again for anyone else. She tries to play this narrative that people make so much off her name, you guys. Let me just tell you, as someone who actually makes content on her, I don't make that. Most of my videos get limited ads, so I don't make hardly anything. If it has Katie's name in the title or anything, a thumbnail of her, it's gotten to the point now where you have to be extremely careful what you say, or you can't monetize it. It's gotten to that. So that alone, to say that people are doing it for money, maybe, yeah, there was a or two in the beginning that did okay, but it still wasn't bukus of money. It was like $8 a video. It's not like people are getting rich off of this, you know? Right. And she tries to spin that narrative and play the narrative as if people are doing it for money. You're not making that much money off her name, you know? So I'm not saying maybe there are people that do it for that. I don't know. But it's just, to me, I think a lot of the reasons why she gets the coverage she does is because her actions are so outlandish, like you just said, and so just out of this world. You look at it like, is she being real right now? Is she trolling? Like, what is she doing? Because it's just crazy to think someone would literally be that naive to what she's doing, you know?
Right. Yep.
It's insane to me.
Yeah, she likes to say, she'll say, the clout that they're going to get off my name. And I'm like, what about the clout that you, like, I don't think anybody goes into this literally thinking, if I do this video on Katie, like, my channel is going to like blow up. I'm going to get all kinds of attention. I'm going to make all kinds of money. I think really the reason people speak out about Katie is because they're blown away by her actions. And they're like, man, I got something to say about this, because this is hypocrisy on a level I've never seen. And I'm going to call it out, or I'm going to just like talk about this. I don't think anybody ever goes in it, but it's like, what about that clout, like with you, when you're at James Charles over and over and over, or you're talking about Tati Westbrook, who has millions of followers. Like, are we the only one that's like, you, like, we're using your name for clout, but you're not using their name for clout? Like, if that's the way you're going to look at it, then that's the way we got to look at it for you too, you know? Oh yeah.
Yeah, Crystal said that your story with her, Leslie, caught the biggest divide from what I saw. Me as well. Whenever I first started, I was telling you the other day, I didn't know anything about it, and very, very quickly people were like, "You need to look into Leslie, you need to look into her story," because I think that's kind of where it all started, showcasing how just nasty she could really be, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. When after a few months, me into my channel, I remember it was like me, Katie, and a girl named Yasmin Woodland. We all kind of, and Grace Report. We all were like the Teen Mom channels, right? And every video that I would do or live stream that I would do, somebody would say, like, you and Katie, or you and Without a Crystal Ball are the best, or you and Grace Report are the best, or you and Yasmin Woodland are the best. It was always like we were linked with each other because we cover the exact same content pretty much. So we had so many of the same viewers. So I think when things went the way that they went, people, I think some people tried to not choose a side. They tried to just kind of stay neutral because they liked my content and her content. So they was like, I don't want to choose a side. I think they disagreed probably with one of us, but they decided not to choose a side. But I think as far as, I mean, I don't know anybody at this point except like 2 of her mods that have really still stuck. I mean, I know so many of her like longtime subscribers that have now come to me and be like, I'm sorry that I watch you now. I realized what she done to you was wrong. I backed her back then because I didn't know what she was doing. I didn't realize that she was lying, but I'm sorry. Like, I only know 2 people that are still with her that have been with her since back then. Everybody else that was like real viewers left. And they either left during that time when she was coming for me, or they left when I started putting out the truth about what happened. When I showed the receipts that I didn't take no super chat money to pay my car note, that I actually paid the car note before the super chat stream was even done, that, when I started posting like the truth about everything. And I guess back then, maybe they believed her because it just kind of made sense. And I wasn't saying anything. I was just quiet for the most part. So they was like, well, if Leslie's not talking and what Katie and Uni is saying, it kind of makes sense, then I guess Leslie's lying and they're telling the truth. But like when I come back and I started showing like proof, then more people like come over. But I don't know, like I said, I don't know anybody that was with her back then that watched me and her that is still with her other than 2 of her mods. And that is Jessie Bear and Scarlett. That's the only 2 people.
And I think that speaks measures.
Huh?
The fact that there has been so many people go throughout and like I said, I get messages and emails galore from people that have just been treated very wrongly by her that used to support her. And it's just insane to me. But I think that all of that really speaks for itself on its own. Like, if you can't even keep the same people, for an extended amount of time because of your reaction or your behavior, right. Like, you don't even need anyone to say anything. It shows for itself alone,
Yep. Oh, yeah. Uncovering hypocrisy. Nadia is another one. Nadia is the 3rd one. So maybe 3 people that have stuck with her. And in my mind, if you choose to stick by Katie after seeing all that she's done, knowing all that she's done, then obviously your way of thinking and your morals or lack of morals line up with hers. And you're like fine with the fact that she'll lie about stuff and that she's mean to people. And I think that's probably now Scarlett. I'm kind of shocked with Scarlett because Scarlett, her mod Scarlett, actually me and Scarlett was friends, and Scarlett would like message me and like send me pictures, and like I was always really supportive of Scarlett. Jessie Bear and Nadia, I believe that they are probably on the same level as Katie.
Yeah,
which is why they stick around with her.
They've been there for a minute, and they're kind of used to it by now, I think.
Yeah.
But let me see. I'm going to catch some of these comments here. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, super special Nadia. That's okay. I don't know how you can read these. You're a pro. You're like the OG YouTuber, because I sit here and I have to read like one comment, look at you, and then go looking through again, some more of them.
Girl,
did you just read them as you're talking?
I'm getting
Candy
better.
says she's got a higher turnover rate than McDonald's. That is freaking hilarious, Candy. Oh my God.
That is 100% true.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. Oh gosh. Okay. And let's see. My mom made fun of KJ by herself home. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Like I said, I'll watch some video. I can't help but to laugh because she does the things that it's entertaining. If nothing else, it's entertaining. I think that's something, but it's not entertaining when it's you going through it. Like in Leslie's position, it was not entertaining. Right. That was her life. That was her personal life being affected by all that. And the same for anyone else that really has ever talked about. And it sucks on the other end of that. But I do believe in karma, and I believe in fate, and I think she is getting she's getting what's coming to her. And I think no matter what, I don't think anyone needs to help the process. It's happen, whether it's with this lawsuit or out of it, it's gonna happen. And it's already happening. It's
Yep.
it's a matter of time.
Yeah, I've said that for a
But
while.
yeah, so
I've said that for a while.
yeah.
That I just had to trust that like people would see the real her, because I've known this side of her for a while, because she would say certain things to me back when we were friends, or I was knowing that she was lying, to her community, essentially my community, because we have the same community basically. I would know of lies that she told. So, and I always knew, like, I can't just come out and say that. Like, I can't just jump on a stream and be like, you guys, Katie's lying about XYZ, because then Katie and probably a lot of people would be like, oh, you're just jealous because she's doing better than you. She gets more views than you. She has more subs than you. So you're just trying to like lie on her to make her look bad. Like, I just knew I couldn't say it. If for sure Katie would come out saying that, like, Leslie's just jealous, so she's lying on me. So I just had to wait. Like, I just had to wait until she showed it herself, and eventually she did.
Yeah, and she will. It's a matter of time. It could be in a couple of months. It could be next week. It could be a couple years from now. But it's gonna happen. And it does. I do hate though. Like, I know I wasn't there to experience a lot of it. I've heard a lot, and just hearing your story and hearing other people telling your story. It sucks because, like I said before, I try to put myself in other people's shoes, and I just imagine how difficult that was, because y'all do share a lot of the same, or at least at that time, did share a lot of the same subscribers. So, and she's saying all of this, and she is, whatever, trying to, I don't even know. In my opinion, I think it was jealousy. That's my opinion. I think a lot of it was jealousy because y'all do very similar content, and she was scared, because that is something I've noticed as well, watching her throughout the months that I've watched her, that if there's anyone that slightly is a competitor in any way, she gets jealous. She gets real jealous, and she's going to say something and try to spin a narrative, and that's something she does. So I can only imagine how that was. Here you are, this is your career, you're trying to make this too, and it potentially could feel like, I'm sure there was a time where it felt like no one was going to hear you or listen to what she was going to say either way, and right. To see it happening now, seeing that, look, I was right, I'm sure that, I mean, I know it sucks because you don't want to be right in these situations. Like, right. I hate that there's people like this out there, but the reality here is she did these things to you, and it's good to see that there's actually some validation. People are realizing.
Yep, absolutely. People have. Probably maybe when the Tati lawsuit come out is when I think people really started realizing. There was like a point where like a lot of people that used to watch her started coming to me. I had this like 2 weeks to where every day I would get like at least like a handful of messages from people, like either on IG or left in my comment section or somewhere, where they would be like, look, back in the day, like, I was a follower of Katie's, or even people that, like, when I showed in my videos where I talk about what happened between me and her, where I show her live stream where she's like talking about my financials, and like there was like some people in there like kind of laughing and was like, oh, they messed with the wrong one. Some of those people even come back to me and was like, look, I was in the comment section that day, like, just like, not even thinking about the fact that you're a human being and you were being hurt. I believe what Katie said. I was kind of like, like egging her on with it. And now I realize that obviously that she was lying. You showed your proof that she was lying. And I wasn't even thinking about the fact that you were being hurt by this and what you had going on in your life. And I'm so sorry. She's just a terrible person. Like, literally, I don't know exactly when it was, but there was a time where like every day for like 2 weeks, I had, just people messaging me where people really started seeing like, this is not good. I supported her and I was blind by whatever it was, and I think sometimes, I'll watch something where somebody will make like a crude joke and I may laugh at first. And then like afterwards I'll be like, probably shouldn't have laughed at that, that's really not funny,
Exactly. All the
so
time.
I think
in
people
the
in her
moment it's funny, and then you're like, that wasn't funny.
right. So I think sometimes when she's like dogging people, like maybe the Duggars, and she's like saying all these mean and cruel things, I think people feel like because she's doing it and everybody in the chat's like, LOL, that's hilarious. They, even though maybe they normally wouldn't be that way, they do it because everybody else is doing it. So they'll go along with it. But I think a lot of the people that's done that, they have come back to be like, that's not who I was. And that's the thing with me. Like, if that's not who you are and you're in a chat and you're laughing about things that normally you probably wouldn't laugh about, I just think you should remove yourself from that, because you can have fun on the internet. You can follow YouTubers that you're going to have fun with. They're going to make you laugh and you're going to enjoy yourself without having to attack people, without having to defame people, without having to laugh at a joke that really you're probably uncomfortable with, that like, I probably shouldn't have laughed at that. Like, if you find yourself doing that a lot, then find somebody else.
I agree. I was thinking about that the other day too. It's definitely kind of, it reminds me of high school. It really does, in the sense of you have those mean girls and you want to be, you want to be friends with them, whatever, but then once you are, you hear like just their nasty and the way that they act and the way that they talk about people or whatever. It's disgusting. And you can choose to stay there and support that and be that and laugh along with it and also get that rep of being a mean girl, or you can choose to be your own person and do your own thing and be, and I would rather any day be my own person. I've never had anyone say I was a mean girl. I've had a few messages where someone would say that I had changed. Or like after a few of my videos, I had got literally one messages saying that I was changing. And I really took that to heart and stepped back and was like, okay, what I think I was? But I always wonder if that's started off with her. So I tell my people, if you ever catch me acting sideways, let me know. Call me out on it. Hold me accountable. I don't want to be like that. I never want to be like that. And I think that's what, I don't think she can be held accountable because she is so close-minded. But if she would have listened to subscribers and people from the beginning, it probably wouldn't have gotten where it's gotten to. Because what your subscribers have to say and the people who support you, that matters more than anything else when it comes to your career, as she calls it. So for her to just disregard everything they say or only take parts that she wants, it's like, this is why you're losing support. This is why this is happening, because you refuse to listen to people, and it's going to happen.
I mean, I've literally seen videos of Katie's where she will literally say, if you don't like what I'm talking about, you can leave. And it'll be like when she done a video about Chelsea, who's got, where she was like, Cole, go get my pills, Daddy, Adam, whatever. And she was like mocking her, but then bringing up her taking medicine for like anxiety or whatever. When she done that, like 90% of the people felt like wasn't okay with it. They was like, Katie, no, like you shouldn't have done that. Like these were her people. Her hardcore following was like, Katie, we were kind of like, I have anxiety, and like that made me feel a certain type of way. Like I wish you would just apologize. And she's like, I'm not apologizing. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not apologizing. The only reason she ended up apologizing was because Lindsay Chrisley told her that she should. Was that Lindsay Chrisley explained to her how it may be offensive, and then she apologized. So she only apologizes when someone that has clout, her famous will tell her, hey, you messed up. Any of us little people, the subscribers or the viewers, us little people, that she literally looks down on us. And that's what I have to say is like, I'm the same as you. I'm the same as everybody watching this, but Katie literally thinks that she is better than her viewers. So like us little people telling her like, hey, that was offensive. You shouldn't have said that. You made me feel a certain type of way because I have anxiety, and the way you were mocking her, I didn't like it. Can you please apologize? 90% of her people was saying this. She was like, no, I'm not apologizing. It was only when that one person that had, her famous person that told her, nobody else matters. And that's how Katie is. She will literally be in her chats saying, there's some like older footage of her too. Literally like, if you don't like what I got to say, you can effing leave. And it's just like, you don't deserve a platform if that's the way you're going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is, it's one thing to, she does commentary. So it's one thing, any commentary channel, if you get a story wrong a little bit, maybe you don't have all the information, you can come back from that. People make mistakes. We're all human. It is what it is. It's one thing. It's just one interaction. Maybe you said something nasty in a heat of passion or whatever, and apologize for it. That's one thing. But when it's over and over and over and over and over and over, you're putting out misinformation, you're dragging people's names, I know I was telling you the other day, she's always saying things about her having this issue with cults and things like that. And I like watching the funny stuff too. I do like watching that type of stuff, but she has such a huge problem with it because the cult, whatever. But a lot of ways, this is just me personally speaking, I think she kind of tries to be a cult leader herself in a lot of ways.
100%.
Because she wants people to believe it. Yeah, she wants people to believe her way and her way of thinking. And if you don't fit in her box, then you don't belong there. And 100%. What type of, I just don't see how you broke that,
Right. Yeah, she's literally like Jim Jones. Hold on. I got to let Sunny out real quick, but hold on.
All right. I'll catch up with these comments here. Let's see, guys. I'm so slow. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. I'm going to try to go up a little bit.
I'm not saying she is like exactly like Jim Jones, the man that Jonestown murdered. What's his name? Jim Jones? Yeah, Jim Jones. Yeah. But like her mentality is that like,
yes,
she's right, you're wrong. Even when she like done the thing that she done to me, and she went live, the very first live that she done after she went after me, she goes live and everybody goes over there to her channel. I didn't tell them to. Somebody come in my chat and was like, Katie's live right now. So everybody like runs over there and like, Katie, you were wrong. Like you owe Leslie an apology. She was like, no, that's the way that I feel. That's the way that I believe. And then she ended up out of pressure because everybody in her chat literally pretty much was telling her that she was wrong and that the facts that she had on the video was wrong. And finally she was like, fine. You guys are drinking Leslie's Kool-Aid, but fine. I'm sorry, Leslie. Fine. You guys, I'm sorry. So like her apologies, she feels like she should never make an apology. And I'm like, we are human. Like we mess up sometimes. Well, why is it such a problem for her to apologize? Why does she feel like out of everybody that's been placed on this earth, she is the only one that will never make a mistake? She is the only one, like as a creator, that is not ever going to put a story out there that may not be 100% truth because for whatever reason, the source that told you was wrong or they lied or whatever. She has to eat, like when she put out the story that Amber Portwood was going to be fired, she held on to that for a while, and people was like, hey, like, what's going on? They fired her yet. And she's like, I don't know why they're dragging her feet. I don't know why they're dragging their feet. And finally, I just had to come out and say, like, I don't think she's going to get fired. You guys, I'm sorry. I don't think it's happening. But she just held on to that as long as she could because she refuses to say, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I recorded something that was wrong. It's ridiculous.
Yes, it's like, it is ridiculous. We all make mistakes and there's nothing wrong with it. And, especially live streaming and stuff, it's gonna happen. Mistakes are gonna happen. Like a baby wake, like it's just gonna happen. And as you get better at it or whatever, you can be professional, whatever. But it's gonna happen. We're human. You're gonna make mistakes in a story. to do commentary, you're going to get a fact wrong. You know, it's part
100%.
of it. It's going to happen to everybody. So there's nothing wrong with admitting that. And I honestly think that when it comes to subscribers and viewers, they appreciate you being human and admitting wrongs more than just sliding by it like, oh, I'm perfect and I do nothing wrong. They want to support and they appreciate, you know, you more if you're honest with your viewers, you
I think
know?
people love humility. Like they love to see somebody. Another thing too, like a lot of times, like I know when I will watch creators, I always for some reason just like was like, oh, they're like for some reason better than me. Like they're better than me in some way, you know. So when you see somebody that has such a large platform though, that can like say, I messed up. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. It really makes you relate to them even more because you're like, oh, they're not perfect. They're not even any better than I am. They screw up just like I do, you know? And I think that's where Katie loses a lot of like people relating to her is because everybody messes up, but she's the one that's like, no, I didn't mess up. I didn't do nothing wrong. So then people's like, well, she thinks she's perfect. She thinks she's better than me.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, guys. She thinks she's better than us, unfortunately.
And that speaks more measures about her than it does anything else. It's very obvious that she does think she's better than everyone, and that's fine. That's fine. At the end of the day, we know the truth. That matters. We know, and that's all that matters. But that kind of leads me into like another thing I wanted to ask you about. And I was just thinking, well, I'm thinking about doing a video on it, but not just. But this is something I've noticed she's done. A lot of creators do this Sadfishing on their channels where they want empathy, right? And so they'll share things like even that video where she was so in it, I was empathetic of her. In that video, she was Sadfishing. That's what she was doing. And then the second someone got on there and said, so what, you did this to yourself, change that narrative, she got mad and she realized, oh crap, the Sadfishing isn't working. So then she switched it up and she started switching the narrative up. And a lot of people, this has been a question I've been asked a lot about all kinds of different creators that Sadfish. And let me ask you, so do you think that Sadfishing potentially be scamming if you're Sadfishing your subscribers and your viewers, could that potentially turn into scamming your subscribers and viewers?
Okay, I think if you go into it, because I think Katie knows that she's doing it. I think Katie looks at her AdSense or what she's making, and she's like, "Oh my God," you know. I think so. So I think she says, "You know what? I'm going to go on there and I'm going to tell a story about my son and when he had surgery, and I'm going to cry, and I know that's going to bring me super chats. I know I'm going to pull on my subscribers' heartstrings and my viewers' heartstrings, and they're going to super chat me. So I'm going to go and do it." And I feel like people do that. I absolutely feel like there are creators that think in advance that day, hey, I'm going to go on and I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk about this hardship in my life. And I know that's going to bring me revenue. I know people are going to super chat me because they're going to feel sorry for me. So I'm going to get on and I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to bring on the tears. And they're going to start super chatting up a storm. I think people like that are absolutely scamming people because the people actually are feeling sorry for you. And, you know, so they're trying to give you a little bit of money, to, you know, because maybe they think that that's going to help, like, you know, make you feel better or whatever. But I do also think that there are people that view their viewers as 100% their friends, and they're not going into things like that. Like when I first told the first time I told my arrest situation, when I first got on my channel and I said, this is the story of my arrest, this is what happened. Not one time before I got on there and told my story did I ever think about anybody sending me one penny. I never even thought about a super chat.
Right.
I got on because I wanted to tell my story. And even though it was hard, I told it, never even thinking that people, and I don't even know if people did send me a bunch of super chats that night. I have no idea. I don't know. They may have, they may not have. I don't know. But I think there are some people that go into it like thinking about it. And I think there are some people that that's not what they're thinking about, because the dollar is not what's important. What's important is sharing their feelings. And even if sometimes they get on there and they may cry, I don't think for a second they're thinking, oh, I'm going to cry and watch the super chats come. I know that's never anything that I think of. I think I've only cried on my channel maybe twice. Once was when my sister was on and we was talking about the day that Abram passed away. I cried a little bit then. I don't think I got a bunch of super chats then. I actually don't know if I got hardly many. I don't know. But not once did I think, I'm going to get on here and we're going to talk about this subject that's going to be hard, and I'm going to bring the tears on and I'm going to get money. But I think Katie is one of the ones that plans it out. I think if you notice, most of the time where she goes on crying, or it's times where her views are down, or it's times where like that month her views haven't been that well, her AdSense, her estimated revenue is really low compared to what she's used to. Like the month of January, I felt like she'd done a lot of Sadfishing. The month of January, I felt like she was like, that was the time where she like went on like really crying. Why can't we just be nice to each other? And then the next night she was on like bashing me. And that's because January, like I've said it a few times, January, the AdSense doesn't pay well, you know? So I think she absolutely, the pride flag thing, the way she talked, she cried about the pride flag. I think all of that was calculated. Absolutely. Like I said, I don't think everybody does it. And if they are the ones sitting back thinking before they go on and do it, thinking, let me go on and cry so I can bring in some more money. Yes, I think they're scamming their viewers. So there's a line there.
Yeah. Yeah. As Star Truth Seeker said, I think that creators have genuine bad days, etc., and share that with their subscribers. Then there are those that do it for attention, divert the subject, and to scam their viewers and subscribers.
1,000%.
And I agree. I mean, like you said, I've never, knock on, sorry, I've never gotten that emotional to that extent on the channel, and I hope I don't have to ever. But you know, if it does have something pertaining to my subscribers that I feel like they need to know, whatever, of course I would be honest about it. But that just doesn't, that type of thing doesn't go in my head as how much money can I make off this tier, you know, or how much money can I make off this story that I've been saving for a rainy day or on a tough day when I'm not making much. And I know that every creator's different. I know Katie in particular does talk a lot about how this is her, you know, her career. This is her job. I know this is your job. And everyone does. Some people do it part-time. Some people do it full-time. Some people whatever. But she does seem to very much look at it as a job. Like for me, or a lot, and I know it may be like this, I don't know. But it is my job. It is something that I'm money from, yes, but I don't look at it as a job, if that makes sense. Right. Like I enjoy doing videos and I enjoy sitting down and coming up with different things to talk about, etc., etc. The way she talks about it is as if it is truly like a job, 9 to 5 job. Like I get up in the morning, I have to do this many hours of this here, and and I know that that's how it gets when you get to a certain level. But we're talking 138,000 subscribers, and it's taken over that amount of time. I don't know. It's very it's a different dynamic, you know, than what I would expect. You know, you've got like Jeffree Star, all these other big people where I could see it being like that and taking up most of your time. But just the way she talks about it is like she's on that level, you know. I don't think she is, in my opinion. I don't think she is.
No, God, no. Someone said,
but that's something I've noticed too. Is just when she talks about it, is like it's definitely number one, and it's definitely I wake up, I live, breathe, and eat my job. You know, like this. Yeah.
I don't think this is even her job. She's obsessed with this. She's obsessed with it. And I think, yeah, she's obsessed with it. And I think, like what you were saying a while ago, like you don't like plan like, oh, I'm going to do a video on Katie because I know like that's what'll bring in money. I think creators like me and you and other, like a lot of the creators, they obviously we want to make money. That's why we do this. We do it because we enjoy it. We're talkers and we're gossipers or whatever, and we want to make money from it, you know. But I also think we're the type of people that want to do it the honest way and the right way. Like we're not sitting back saying, I'm going to do this story on Katie because I know that's what's going to bring me in the most money. Like I know I only talk about what I want to talk about because I want to talk about it. I'm not sitting around planning what can make me the most money. I talk about what I want to talk about, when I want to talk about it. Or if my viewers are asking me to talk about it, that's how I'm going to talk about it. Whether it brings me in $1 or it brings me in $100. That's not where my mind is at. My mind is where I like what I want to do or what my viewers want me to do, you know. But I think Katie is completely different. People can be telling Katie, don't talk about this, don't talk about this, don't talk about this. But she knows if she talks about it, she's going to get a lot more viewers because people's like, what is she? If she is specifically, if it's something that seems like it may be to do with like the lawsuit, she will like title the stream that because people's like, what is she talking about now? What is she talking about now? Even though everybody's telling her to be quiet, she's doing it because she knows she's going to get the most viewers she probably would rather than if she's talking about like a TV show. So she knows she's going to get more money on it. So I think we obviously want to make money and do this, but we do it in a more authentic way versus her. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that definitely makes sense. Like with me, it's very much, I didn't start this. I knew you'd make money from it, but I didn't start it thinking, oh, I'm going to get rich off this. You know, I started it because I wanted to and kind of learn along the way what works, what doesn't work for you and your channel. And it's a learning experience. And once you figure out what works and you find your people or they find you, then you grow from there and they can tell you, hey, and you have a relationship with them. They tell you what they want to hear. But I never, and maybe there's days where I have to like make myself do a video and I don't really want to do it that day. But, you know, that's the end of it. It's not like I'm doing this all day long from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. Like, and I'm sure, like I said, to grow, I'm sure it does take up more and more time. And I'm not, you know, bashing anybody that does. I'm just saying it's a hard way to, even when I get to, if and when I ever get to 1 million or 100 or whatever, 1,000 subscribers, I don't think I'm going to, I mean, my kids are always going to come first. I think my subscribers know that. My family's always going to come first. You know, my life outside of the internet's always going to be more important than what's on the internet. And if that's a problem, then I guess I just won't, you know, get that big. But and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my people, you know. But that's just where some of us are different, you know.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think that like you were saying a while ago, like there's times that I'm like, okay, I need to put a video out today because my views are low. But it'll be a video that I want it to be on. Like I'll go see what's going on in the reality TV world and be like, okay, I want to cover this story versus this story. And sometimes one of the other stories I may think like that one probably could make more money, but this is the one I want to talk about today. Like I'll do that one later tonight or tomorrow or whatever. But this is obviously, you know, I do that sometimes too. You know, we're like, our views down, got to make a video. But it's because we do look at it as a job, but we're still being true to ourselves by picking what we want to do and not just going based on what will bring in the most amount of money.
Yeah. And there's, you know, and that's just a part of it is you want to make your subscribers happy, but you have to stay true to yourself too. And so you can do a mixture of both. You don't have to just do one or the other. That's the beauty of comedy. That's what makes it so awesome is you don't have to put yourself in a box. You don't have to do that, you know. So seeing people put themselves in a box, that it sucks because commentary should be like that. There's so many things you can talk about and there's so many things. It's very open. So you have to limit yourself, you know. And that's what I love about it. But speaking of reality TV, but I know you do a lot of Teen Mom stuff. What else do you do or cover a lot of? I know Teen Mom is like your main one is Teen Mom.
Yeah, the Teen Mom franchise is my main
Yeah.
one. I've kind of gotten into the Duggars, and that's been because like I've done like a couple videos on them, and the comments was like, please start covering the Duggars because I don't want to watch the other person because she's so negative, but I want to watch content on the Duggars. I really enjoy it. And then Sister Wives, I cover Sister Wives, Jersey Shore, Floribama Shore. Let's see. Some of my mods are here. What else do I cover?
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, like
That's
almost
what
any
we do, I think.
TV almost.
Yeah.
And not just like what's going on the show, but like Ronnie Magro when him and his like baby mama was really like going at it and he was like getting in trouble a lot. Like I covered that. Oh, Honey Boo Boo, I cover Honey Boo Boo. Mama June. My Mama June videos do really well.
That's
I've said
awesome.
Siesta Key. I cover Siesta Key. It's coming back on soon, so I'll be covering that again. So yeah, I cover a good bit of stuff. Not really anything like I don't talk about politics. I don't really talk about religion. I don't talk about like the serious topics because for me this is kind of like a getaway from like
It's fun.
yeah, it's fun. Like I don't want to cover serious topics.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun, lighthearted. You know, you can have serious conversations from time to time about different things, but I want my channel, and I'm just like you, I want it to be lighthearted and fun. I don't want it to ever feel that heavy. You know, it's just a good time somewhere to go and talk about things and spill a little tea, gossip a little bit, whatever, and talk in the comments. My favorite thing about commentary is truly that. Like one of the biggest reasons I started doing it was because you can make your videos very interactive and your subscribers and viewers can share thoughts and opinions just as much. And I love having conversations in the live stream or in the comment section, and that's how you make relationships. So I don't feel like, I know you could do that with any other, like before I did beauty content a lot more than I do now. But it's different. Like you just, how you gonna connect over a highlighter or a foundation? You know, oh, that foundation, that's so cool. But you're not really gonna connect over it the same way as if here you are talking about your opinion and someone either disagrees and tells you why. You can have a conversation that way, you know? And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, when it comes to Teen Mom, I love so I watch a lot of Teen Mom, 90 Day Fiance. I'm kind of obsessed with that show. And the Real Housewives series, like pretty much all of them. My favorite one is Nashville, Real Housewife of Nashville, I think. I love that one so much. Or no, Real Housewife of Dallas. That's what it is.
I don't watch Real Housewives, but I've had so many people tell me that I need to.
Yeah. That one's my favorite. I like all of them. I could sit and watch them all and be hooked and hours, you know, watching that stuff. But that's my favorite. I don't know. I just really like them. But Teen Mom, of course, I think a lot of us have been watching and following these girls for a long time. Yeah. And just out of curiosity, you may not answer this because you cover it. I am kind of curious. Which Teen Mom would you say is your favorite?
Well, I relate to Macy and Chelsea the most. Like my story is almost like identical to theirs. So I got pregnant at 17. I had been dating Paris and Caden's dad. I had been dating him since I was like 12. So 5 years we had dated before I got pregnant. Yeah, 12 years old we started dating. Got pregnant at 17. He comes from a family that's like well off. He was the youngest son, so he was very spoiled. Like he got his first vehicle when he was like 14. By the time he was 18, he had went through like 3 or 4 vehicles. And during our relationship, we were on and off because he cheated on me a lot, and he had a substance abuse problem that I didn't want to stick around for. But he was like, who I thought was the love of my life. So I was like Macy, like we lived together. There's like clips of Macy when she had Bentley and they were living together. And like Ryan would come home from God knows where, and she'd be like, can you hold the baby? Because I'm trying to do my schoolwork, which was me. I was in school. Like, well, actually I was pregnant. My senior year, I was pregnant and I finished it early. I finished my senior year in like just a few months so I could have Paris before I graduated. Before I graduated. I got out of school in January and then I graduated in like May. So I didn't have to go the last few months. And then I had her in March. But like he would come home from God knows where, and I would be just like I had gotten home from school earlier and I was big, fat, and pregnant and I was tired. And, I'm like, can you help me do this? Or can you do this? No. And then after I had her, I would be like, can you watch her so I could go take a bath? No. He was and then like, there was like one instance where like he was cheating on me and the girl come to our house. She was in the back seat of a car. She like rode up with some of our friends and she was in the back seat laying down and he was like out there talking to her. And I see him out there talking to the back window where I see nobody back there, So I like go back there and she's like this talking to him. And I'm like, my baby is like 2 months old in the house. And I'm like, what in the, I like go crazy, like run them off or whatever. So like my story is so much similar to Macy's and Chelsea's and like just the deadbeat dad aspect of it that had the substance abuse problem, had the parents that just catered to him though. Just like Ryan and like Ryan's parents, Jen and Larry, the way they cater to Ryan, my baby daddy's parents catered to him. And like he was always right for the most part. I was super close to them though. Like when we were dating and when I had Kennedy, we were super close. I was close to his parents, but then like they always just chose his side. So I don't know. So I just relate to them so much. Chelsea, and that's why I started watching it. I got pregnant at 17, so when the show come out, I just got hooked on it. So I guess they would probably have to be my favorite. While obviously we're all human, people will talk about the fact that Macy has a beer in every scene. Or the fact that Chelsea talks in a baby voice, like those things, whatever. Because I'm like, well, they take care of their kids. They're good moms. You see them spending time with their kids. You see them trying to protect their kids. Maybe sometimes they make a mistake in the way they want to protect their kids. I have as well. So yeah, I like them the best. Let me think. Yeah, I think those are the only two that I relate to. Now, there's certain things like I like the way that Kale is super ambitious, and Kale was able to go to school. Like, I'm rewatching the show, like from like 16 and pregnant, and I'm watching where Kale was living with Joe at his parents' house. She had a job, and they broke up, and she actually got a second job so she could get her own place. And Joe wanted them to get a place together. And he was like, you're not going to be able to make it on your own. And she was like, I don't care. I will do what I got to do to make it on my own. Like, she didn't have her mom's support. She didn't have her mom there to help her. And even though like her baby daddy saying like, let's get a house together, she was like, no, I don't think we're well. Like, I don't want us to get a place together and us be constantly fighting. I would rather just get a place on my own. And then, he's like, you can't, you're not. And she's like, I will pick up a second job. So there was a point in Kale's life where she had this new baby and she was working 2 jobs and going to school. So like, I admire that about Kale. I think she's like a bad butt woman. Like, while obviously there's some things about her that, I don't like, and I don't agree with the fact that she's like put hands on hobby. She, whatever. So I'm trying to think if there's any. I don't think there's any one of them that I just don't like. There's a lot that I disagree with. Like I just watched Teen Mom OG, I guess their last episode, I guess maybe it is. And Amber is contacted by this body positivity woman because Amber was trolled online where she posted this picture and someone was like, oh my God, you're so fat and you're ugly, blah, 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 which I thought was crappy for anybody to say that to her. But she was contacted by this lady and They talked, and Amber was like, I just don't believe in bullying. I just don't like it. I think about my daughter, Leah, and, what if she has to go through bullying? And then she decides she's going to kind of be like a spokesperson, more or less. She's going to speak out against bullying on her platform, right? But then, like, a part of me was like, oh, that's good. You should do that. Then another part of me was like, Amber Portwood speaking out about bullying. When you've been arrested for domestic violence, like, so I think there's aspects of
the first 2 seasons, she was very very aggressive as well with Gary, and so yeah. I don't know how that would go for it.
Right.
I think my favorite out of literally all of them, and it's for almost the same reason as yours, is because I relate to them the most. I think that's how anyone that watches it, I think that's what it pretty much boils down to, is who you relate to the most. But Caitlin and Tyler are on the OG one. They are, because that's me and my husband's story to a T. We've been like y'all, we've been together for a very long time, since high school, younger years, and we were best friends, and then it just kind of built from there, but yeah, and we were, of course, we didn't go through the whole adoption thing, but we waited a lot longer than most people nowadays wait to start having children, because we wanted to be kids and have fun, and we didn't jump into it. So I was 21. I got pregnant with my first child, and me and him's been together since, like I said, literally since sophomores, freshmen, sophomores in high school. So we had a lot of time to figure out what we were doing before we really decided to settle down and do that lifestyle and be parents and stuff. So I think that's why. Plus, another thing is just how they get through everything together instead of giving up each other. I think their story shares a lot more about marriage and how marriage really is, because marriage is hard. I've been married for going on 11 years, and it's hard.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's hard. There are days where it's very difficult, but you got to just continue to choose every day that's the what you want, and that's the person you love, and that's who you want to be with. And it can be difficult sometimes, but you have to choose each other every day. And I love that they shared a lot of that on there, I think, because I think a lot of younger kids now that are watching the show get the wrong idea of being a teen mom or being married young or whatever. So I do like that they are showing more of that kind of stuff there. I don't know what's going to happen with the show. I'm worried about what's going to happen with the show. I'm sure they'll continue going with doing something.
I'm like, is it time to end it? Because really, I don't know a lot of teen moms that end up living the lifestyle that they live. Like, that's just, but also, like Kale said, like, I'm on a show that's called Teen Mom because I was a teen mom, and being a teen mom doesn't stop when I turn 20. I'm still, I was a teen mom. This is still me living my life or whatever. But yeah, I've wondered, I don't want the show to leave, but I also watch scenes with Bentley, and I'm like, even I see a lot of people commenting saying Macy's using Bentley for a storyline, or she's constantly talking about Ryan, or Chelsea is always talking about Adam. And I'm like, but that's their story. Chelsea's story of being a teen mom is her being a teen mom and what happens with her and Aubrey and Adam and how that plays out. Her story is not so much what's going on with her and Cole. Yeah, she's married to Cole. This is what they got going on. But really, the focus is supposed to be, I got pregnant as a teen by this guy. Now this is where he's at. This is what he's doing. This is where my daughter's at. This is what they're doing. So part of me is these kids are getting to the age to where some of the stuff you just don't need to put on TV because it could affect them too much, or the effects that it could have on the relationship with their other parent. When Bentley, I think Ryan always wants to blame everything on Macy. So if Bentley don't want to go to a party, they just assume Macy put that in his head. But we're seeing now, it looks like Bentley is very smart and he sees what's going on, and Bentley is making his mind on these things. It's not Macy saying, well, Bentley, you don't want to go to this party, do you? You're going to feel uncomfortable. Your dad's going to be there. It's Bentley. It's Macy saying, Bentley, what do you want to do? And Bentley saying, oh, I don't really want to go. And she's like, are you sure? You know, you can go. Your grandma will be there. And he's like, no, I don't want to go. But then in the same sense, it's like now Ryan's going to feel salty towards Bentley because he may come to the realization that this is not Macy making Bentley feel this way, that this is Bentley feeling this way. And it may make him feel some type of way towards Bentley for seeing this, you know? So I don't know. Part of me is like, maybe they need to just kind of, but it's like, I love the show and I've kept up with them for 10 years. Like just finding out that Chelsea wasn't going to be on there. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so going to be wondering what she's got going on. I'm going to have to follow her. I follow her on her social media, but I'm going to have to check in every once in a while because I want to see what's going on with Aubrey in 2 years. You know, I want to see where Chelsea is at in 2 years, but I don't know. I can't hear you.
Sorry, hear me now?
Yep.
No, I think I was just saying when it comes to Chelsea, I think she's the one out of all of them. I mean, I know they all do a lot of media stuff, but Chelsea is like on fire on Instagram stuff, and I think she's going to start doing a lot more of that and popping off there because that's like her calling, you know, and they all have their own little things that they do. I have a feeling that now that she leaves, she'll have more time to put into that stuff. And she does share a lot on Instagram. I follow her on there more than anywhere else. And, you know, she's just like, she makes it look so easy, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, she makes it look so easy. And, I mean, I know everyone's different, but for me, two, I had it down pat. Feel like a glove, had it down pat. And then we threw an extra in the mix, and it's been this huge adjustment of figuring out how to juggle everything and make sure everyone feels the same amount of love and the same they all get the same amount of attention. And you've got 6, girl. I don't know how. How you do it because yeah. Well, and I, you know, too, like I said, I had it like no problem. I bragged. I thought Mom would be like, 2 ain't nothing. I got this. You know, 3 ain't gonna be nothing. Because that's what I'd heard is after 2, oh, you're good. Anything after that, that's a lie.
I say after 3.
And whoever said that lied because
I say after 3, you're good. Yeah.
But yeah, and then I know people that's got, you know, way more kids than that. I think I would do okay with 4, but I couldn't even imagine 6. And it's not because I wouldn't love them all. I would have 6 if my body would let me. I would, but that doesn't mean I you know, because I'd go crazy. I'd go myself crazy.
Look, let me tell you.
So
our kids come home at like our kids come home at like 3:45, and usually by 4:15, me and Sean are like, goodness, like it's been so crazy for the past 30 minutes. Like it went from 0 to 90, you know, and like it's like from the time they get home, like they'll zoom through the house, chunk their book bags, chunk their shoes, run to this, run to that. One will grab something, another was like, that's mine, you know, and it's just like, that's why I don't even try to film, like, unless my kids are down for bed, because it's like anything else, you guys are going to hear yelling, you're going to hear screaming, you're going to hear fighting. I'm going to have to like jump off and go run to take something out of their hand and give it to the other kid because they stole it from them. So it's wild. It's pretty wild, but it's fun too. Like it really is. Like,
well, that's. I've still got. Are all your kids or do you still have some that are at home still?
I have one that's at home. The little girl, Kennedy, she's still home.
Oh, see, I think that's where it's when you have a few that's at home and then you have one in school or 1 and 2 in school and still at home. I think that transition is the most difficult, not for any other reason other than this. All my mommies out there will understand. I love my kids. I love my mom. It's my number one biggest accomplishment. But I do like to take a breather, and be able to just, do my own thing. And that's when I started YouTube. YouTube was my own thing. It was my thing. I didn't have to, it was mine. And it was, the only thing that was mine. So that's why I've, grabbed a hold like I have. But when you have kids that are in school, you've got those couple of hours where you can do whatever, and you still have some at home and some in school. You don't get that much, So it's definitely that transition. It gets easier, and like with people like you that have 6 kids, 8 kids, 9 kids, whatever, you get used to it. It's a routine. You get into a routine of things, and a lot of yours are older too, so I'm sure that they help with like the younger ones and things like that a lot, because my 8-year-old helps with my baby all the time, and he's an awesome big brother, so it does help having older ones there.
Yeah. Paris Paris, she'll kind of watch Kennedy for us, or she'll keep an eye on her, or and the boys, like, sometimes they'll like link up together and they'll be all outside. Like the other day, me and every one of my kids, down from Paris to Kennedy, we were all outside for a while. We were throwing the football, and then we were playing soccer. And we picked teams, and it was like me and I think it was me and Eli. We were against like all the other kids, So like there's moments like that where you can play something with all of them that's just so like it's like the best time ever, And then there's moments to where like I need to run to the store, and like I don't really like getting Kennedy out too much. So if I don't have to, I won't. I really don't like for any of them to get out outside of going to school just because of COVID, So like I'll need to go somewhere. So I'll be like, Paris, if Sean's not here, I'm like, Paris, can you watch your little sister? I gotta run to the store, whatever. Just like this weekend, me and Sean may go somewhere for my birthday, and like I'll probably get Paris to watch her little sister or something, So it's nice having. She's older. It's nice having someone older that can kind of keep an eye on them if we have to go somewhere. Kennedy can go to school next year. Someone asked, it's not long before. She can go to school next year, but Sean says that he's not going to let her. He says she's not going.
Well, that's what I did with my daughter. My daughter, she could have started this year, but because of things being the way it was, I was scared. to send. I had to send him, but I didn't have to send her. In the way because if I don't got to, why? Risk it. I'm already risking it enough. So, so we chose to bring her home. But yeah, you guys, I have really enjoyed it. It's already been almost 2 hours. You're so awesome, Leslie. Thank you so much for coming on here and talking with me. I know that one night we talked for like 3 hours. Guys, thank you so much.
It's almost like 3 hours. What time did we get off? Like 1 o'clock in the morning or something? I don't even know.
It was almost 3. It was almost 3, which we got late, but still, I went back and looked, and it was close to 3 hours. I was like, and we didn't even hardly talk. We, we were just talking. So that's awesome. I enjoyed talking to you. Now, tomorrow, are you still wanting to do something on your channel? Hop over there and do something?
Sean's got to do some schoolwork because like none today. He didn't really get to do anything. So I was going to see if you wanted to do something next week. Like maybe next Wednesday. Yeah, wait, what time is like next Wednesday? Is that good for you?
Yeah, see what it is every other Wednesday they have remote learning. So next Wednesday is the Wednesday he doesn't have remote learning. So I'll be good next Wednesday for sure. No problem.
Okay. Then next Wednesday,
I'm pretty flexible.
Okay. Next Wednesday, you'll be on my channel then. And we'll do the same thing. We'll just hang out and chit chat. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Seeker. Thank y'all all so much. You guys are so awesome. I love you all. I'm gonna go celebrate my baby boy's birthday. I have an awesome rest of your day. I appreciate you again, Leslie, so much for coming on. And I will see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.